Welcome back to On-Ramp, on the path from anonymity to known. It will take all of us at M1, and each one of us, but we are on the cusp of something big and major that God can and wants to do. This session I want to talk about something called SHAPE. It's an acronym, and you'll see it in your book, and we'll walk through it. I've done this series multiple times. I love teaching about this. When you understand your shape, and we're not talking about a physical shape, when we understand that you are shaped for significance, when you understand your shape, it reduces stress. You stop comparing yourself to everyone else, and you stop trying to do what you're not gifted at, and it increases success. If you're over 35, if you knew at 20 what you know now about yourself, you'd have a whole lot more success. Let's get right into this. The S in SHAPE. SHAPE is a simple acronym. The S stands for spiritual gifts. God gives us spiritual gifts. 1 Corinthians 12 talks about that. There's lots of other passages that talk about spiritual gifts and lists different lists. Some of them lists like mercy, preaching, serving, teaching, exhortation, giving, administration. Gifts help explain lots of things about yourself, but gifts also explain disagreements among Christians. We see the same thing. We explain them differently because we see them differently because of our gifts. Let me give you an illustration. You're at an event and someone drops the dessert on the floor. If you have the gift of mercy, you may say, hey, don't feel bad. That could have happened to anybody. If you have the gift of preaching, you might say, that's what happens when you're not careful. Use two hands. If you have the gift of serving, you might say, let me help you clean it up. If you have a gift of teaching, you might say, the reason it fell, it was too heavy on one side. If you have the gift of exhortation, you might say, next time, let's serve dessert with the meal. If you have the gift of giving, you might say, I'll buy you a new dessert. If you have a gift of administration, you might say, Jim, get the mop. Sue, pick it up. Mary, help me make another dessert. S is spiritual gifts. H is heart. Heart, understanding our heart. Our heart explains not just what we say, but why I say the things I do, why I feel the way I do, and why I act the way I do. We want to commit all of our heart and all of our life to Christ. And when we give Him our heart, we let Him mold it, we let Him shape it, we let Him make it as He wants. That's H, heart. A is abilities. Abilities. Every ability is given by God. And there's some abilities that I have, and there's some abilities that I do not have. No one has all the abilities, but every ability is given by God, and every ability can be used for God's glory. I don't know what you're good at, but I almost guarantee, I'll bet you 100 push-ups. It may take not one time, but 100 push-ups, that you tell me what you're good at, I can find a way you can use it to honor God. I can find a way that you can use it either within the church or outside the church where it moves His kingdom forward. Abilities are given by God, used for God's glory, and abilities show God's plan for my life. What it is He wants me to do, whatever it is He wants me to do, is because He's given me the ability to do it. He's not calling me to do something that I'm absolutely incapable of. When it comes to abilities, if I don't use them, I might lose them. I want to use the abilities God has given me. The P in SHAPE, spiritual gifts, heart, abilities, the P stands for personality. We want to be aware of personality differences. There's actually no right or wrong personality. There's no right or wrong personality that God can or cannot use. The Bible is full of examples of Him using lots of different kinds of people. But the more you are aware of personality differences, the more you accept personality differences, the more patient you will be with people. That's a man's wisdom that gives him patience. It's His glory to overlook an offense. Romans 15:7, accept one another just as Christ accepted you. What would happen if we started accepting personality differences instead of just disliking them, or stop trying to make everyone like ourselves? Let's look at Jesus' disciples for a moment. All chosen by Jesus, right? And they're as opposite as night and day. The Apostle John, very meditative, thoughtful. Peter, Mr. Impulsive, puts his foot in his mouth all the time. Nathaniel had an easy time believing. Thomas had a hard time believing. James and John, called the sons of thunder. When Jesus was mistreated due to racist views, He wanted to call down fire on them. What a unique personality. Simon was a zealot, which is kind of like a overthrow the government, physically radical kind of person. Matthew was a Roman tax collector who was working for the government. They wouldn't get along in any social setting. That's like Princess Leia and the stormtrooper on a camping trip. Not going to happen, right? But they had to learn how to accept the personality differences and then actually begin to appreciate them. Imagine if people were aware of your personality, accepted your personality, and appreciated your personality. We can have unity without uniformity in our church, and we can have differences without division. Last, the E stands for experiences. Your experiences are different than mine. Your experiences are valuable, and so are mine. Our experiences is like a personal referral system. Everything we tend to judge comes through how we've experienced whatever we've experienced. If I say parenting is easy, it's based on your experiences. If I say middle school was fun, it's based on your experiences. If I say crime doesn't pay, it's based on your experiences. What do we do with experiences? Examine them. Examine them. Galatians 3 talks that we should take a look at what's happened in our life and see, was it really for nothing? Unexamined experience can be wasted. We should extract the lessons that we learned from our experiences and ask the right questions. God, why is this happening? Is a question you can ask, but it may not get you the answer you want. What do you want me to learn from this, God? That's a better question. After you extract the lessons, exercise the experience of others. Utilize them. Leverage everyone else's experience. Neither you nor I have enough time to live long enough to learn everything we need to learn from our own mistakes. We don't have time. There's people in our lives that have positive examples of their experiences and some negatives that we can learn from. Lastly, extend your experience for other people. Use your experiences for the good of others. If you don't use your experience, what good is it? God expects you to have a ministry and serve in the local church. That's the next couple of videos in Unwrap. We're going to talk specifically about how can we practically get you in a spot where you can exercise your shape, your spiritual gifts, your heart, your ability, your personality, your experiences. Because there is a special part for you to play. And there's something special for you to do. I'm looking forward to seeing what you're going to do in our church. We're going to continue moving on the on-ramp path from anonymity to known. Hang in there for the next video.